Alright you guys, so for today's video we're going to be doing a unboxing on the KBO Tornado bike. Cool thing about this one, it is an all-terrain bike. So I can take this whether I go off-road, whether I go camping, or just wherever I go, I can take this thing. Another cool thing that I do have today is the KBO e-bike rack. Cool thing about that is I can carry this bike and my previous bike on there. And then of course, later in the future, I'm going to go ahead and make a full-on review video on it. So let's get right into the video and unbox this. Alright you guys, so let's come on right over here so I can show you how it looks inside. So when you open up the package, it looks like KBO does actually package it very well. They take good care of it, but we'll see of course once we unpackage everything, see if anything's dented or not. But unboxing it looks pretty good. So now that it's out of the box, you're going to notice it is kind of zip tied and there's foam on it. Like I was saying, it does look like they do package it very well. One thing to note though, when receiving these KBO bikes, and I think this goes for all of them, I'm not 100% sure, but at least the one on mine, the previous one, it came like this as well. I had to build it out. Looks like this one we're going to have to build it as well, which is fine. It's pretty straightforward and they do provide you some good instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking this off, and once I'm done, we'll get back to you guys. So now that we have it all unpacked and everything like that, one thing to note, the color that I picked, I can guarantee you will like it if you want to purchase this. It has like a nice metallic finish with a little bit of glitter in it. Looks really good. But right off the bat, I can tell this is a lot better quality than the first one. First one was just kind of like their entry level. This one's a little better. I'm excited to try this out. Stay tuned for that review video. Like I was telling you earlier, is it does come packaged, so you do have to assemble it. You are going to get a set of keys. Inside you're going to get a box as well, and that's where all your tools, because they do provide the tools to actually put it together, and your charger and stuff like that is. As you can see, here is the charger. It comes with instructions inside of that. It's also going to come with a front light. It also has a rear light, which is already installed. It's going to come with the toolkit that you're going to need. It's going to come with this, which this is going to be for your tire since it is off right now. It's going to come with some screws, the pedals, which we're going to need, and that's really easy to install. So since we are going to be starting with the handles, I've got the toolkit that came provided. I just matched up which one's going to fit inside of there. It looks like it's a 4mm. So I'm just going to take out these 4 screws. Super easy, nothing hard about it. So now that I got it loose, I got the screws here. So when aligning this, you want to make sure to put it so when you're sitting down, you want it to be at a comfortable angle. So I have it there. That's where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to put it on all 4 and tighten it down. Same thing. I'll get back to you guys. All right, so the next easiest thing to do is going to be the pedals. One thing to note, you're going to see there's an L and there's an R. That's going to be for left and right. So keep that in mind when putting these on. So left is going to be for this side. If you come closer, you're going to see right there it says left pedal. You can't really mess this up, and it also gives you the point of direction to tighten. So that's awesome. Right here you can get like some type of wrench and tighten it down just a little more just to make sure that's snug. So now we're going to do the same exact step to the right side. So up next we're going to be working on installing the tire. On the tire you're going to have these caps. All you literally do is just pop them right out. There's going to be one on this side, one on this side. One thing to note, make sure to not touch the rotor. Once you're done, what we're going to be doing is, if you notice on the bottom of this axle here, you're going to see there's a bolt or a nut right there, and there's a nut on the other side. You're going to need to remove this plastic cap that comes with it for shipping. Inside the KBO Flip, the toolkit that they provide, you're going to see some weird thing like this once you pop it open, and you can use this, but I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little bit tricky to try to get in there, and you're going to take forever. So if you don't want to do it that way, go ahead and do what I'm doing. It's a size 15mm nut. Go ahead and remove it. And then of course the other side. Now you can take that plastic out. Now you want to go ahead and get your tire. If you have someone to help you out, it'll make life easier. But what you're going to need to do here is noticing the rotor. Brake pads are on this side. Make sure you match those two up, and just being careful when sliding it right over. There should be a groove where it latches into. Once again, if you have someone helping you out, this process will be so much easier. Grab this rod that comes in there. This is basically going to be your locking mechanism for the tire. So say you go ahead and stop somewhere at the store or something like that and you want to chain up your bike, take the keys, take the battery, and take the tire with you. So now that I have this rod in my position, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the nut. What we're going to be doing is on the rotor side, we're going to stick this right through. Keep in mind there's a spring here. You want to leave it on this side. So once you have it all the way through, push down, hold it, and come right over here. So while my hand is pushing down on the lever, you can see it goes in and out. Push down, go ahead and grab the cap and screw it on. It's going to be that simple. Once it's nice and snug, if you come back around, once you feel it nice and snug, don't tighten it down too much, because you still need to bring this lever up. And just like that. And if you ever want to release it when you park it, say you want to chain it up, just put that lever down, unscrew it, repeat the process. Next, we're going to be installing the fairing. What you want to do is bring it around this way. Technically, you don't need to do this, but for me, since I am going to be taking it off-road, I'm going to put it on because I don't want to scratch the paint. It's a really nice paint color. So I'm going to put it right around right here. And then you are going to notice this rod will go up and down. Same thing on the other side. There's going to be a set of screws right here. So go ahead and unscrew that. If it's not easy by hand, grab the provided tool and take it off. So what I've done here is on the back side of that nut, it's going to be a size 8mm. I have one of my pockets. On here I have the tool kit that came provided. Grab the one that says 4mm, which is 4mm, and go ahead and remove that bolt. On the opposite side, there's going to be the same one. Go ahead and repeat the process. All right, so now that we're done with those, coming right up here, you're going to see there's another screw there. On this side, it's going to be on the provided toolkit, size 5mm. On the opposite side, it'll be a size 10mm socket. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew those as well. Of course, if you have power tools, go ahead and use it. That way you're not here forever. Once you have that top one off, go ahead and bring this up. This one in. So bolt, nut, same thing by hand for right now. I'll grab the other bolt washer, put it on the other side. And now that you've hand tightened them, go ahead and tighten this down to spec. So while installing the fairing, we're also going to be installing this headlight that comes with it. Go ahead and pull the little tab that's in there out. This front fender is going to be tied in with the headlight. So you want the bracket to be in this position here. For installation purposes, you can adjust it later. So what we're going to do is this that's on the fender is going to go to the back. For the headlight, that's going to go to the front. And put the bolt right through there. Coming on the back side over here, the washer, and reinstall that nut you had taken off. If you want to use the socket and wrench, this side is going to be a size 10mm for the nut, and on this side it's going to be a size 5mm Allen key. To adjust this, there's going to be a Phillips head. If you don't know what that is, it's just a plus screwdriver, and on this side there'll be a nut, and then it should allow you to go up or down. To turn it on, there's a little on button right here up top. If you ever need to change the battery, down here there's a tab. You pull down and it releases. There's the AAA batteries. It takes 2 of them. So let's go ahead and reinsert that. So top goes first, and then you can click it back in place. So now we're going to unbox, of course, and see what's inside of the e-bike rack. So this one's going to be awesome because I can take both of my e-bikes. There's going to be for 2 bikes. So this is one rail, that's the other rail right there. This is what's going to go attached into the car, and then where these are going to attach to. This is going to be the tie down point for the tires. This is where the support of the other tire will sit, and it's going to come with some hardware and the tools needed to put this together. All right, you guys, so for the first step, you want to go ahead and grab these 2 little bolts that come provided. Get the Allen key that does come provided. You're going to want to go ahead and get the 2 bike loading racks and 2 of these bad boys here. So you want to go ahead and lift it, slide it right through. All right, so you might need a mallet to go ahead and put this right through. I'll be honest with you guys, this part's kind of hard, but you're going to notice now that little hole there is showing. So that's where you're going to want to put that little screw that I told you guys to grab. Grab your Allen key that came provided. Go ahead and tighten that down and adjust this later. So we're gonna do the same thing to the other one. All right, so now that we've assembled this, up next what we're gonna be doing is go ahead and grab these two here. You're also gonna grab 4 of the washers that came in the bag, grab the size 10 wrench that came in there, and the 4 screws. What we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna be installing both of these pads for the tires onto this rail. So you're gonna notice there is an edge where it kind of goes up and goes at an angle. Over here it's kind of more flat. So what you're gonna want is the pointy part to be inwards towards this rail here. This other end, the longer side, you want it outwards. So it's gonna go right there. Grab 2 of the screws, 2 of the washers, put them right through. And what we're gonna do, put this down for now. Let's look at the bottom end, where we're gonna be installing those 2 screws. The bottom side is plastic, so you don't wanna damage it. Once you have it started by hand, go ahead and grab your size 10 and tighten all the way down. Now once you're done with this, you do the same exact step to the other rail. Now that we finished up with the rails, up next is going to be this piece which attaches to the actual car, and you're going to have these 2 brackets inside the bag. Go ahead and grab these. You're going to need this. You're also going to need the Allen key provided. What we're going to do here is we're going to start setting this up. If you have somebody to help you out, it's going to be awesome, but basically these are going to be little hinges to kind of support the bracket. You'll see. It's going to be 4 screws there. Go ahead and unscrew all 4. This is going to be the same process for both brackets and both rails. All right, so one thing to take in mind once you've taken all 4 screws off, make sure you notice what the bottom is, what the top and the bottom is. For example, where the screw came out of, and the bottom where the nut is. So we'll put the screws down. Keep in mind how you took the bracket off as well. So we're going to leave it in the position I took it off, and you're going to see one side the hole's here, one side the hole is here. That's why you have to pay attention to the orientation. So we'll put the bracket down. This bottom end is actually going to go over the rail, and then you're going to grab the top end of the bracket, and it's going to go like that, and then you'll go ahead and reinstall all of the bolts. I have the latch here, and it's pointed this way, and the top end is here. So this is going to be the top. This bottom end is what's going to go into the receiver of the vehicle. So keep that in mind. Before I actually put this down though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of my rails and I'm going to slide it right through here. I'll put the bracket over. You'll see what I mean. So now that I have the rail in place, I just kind of stacked it over. So now I can finally put this top bracket on. Before I was just kind of showing you guys what the process is, but now I'm actually going to do it. If you have 2 people, of course, this process is going to be easier, only because of the weight of this rail. It does get a little difficult, but it's possible. Before I tighten this down, I want this as close as possible, but to where it's not going to interfere. Once it's assembled, it should look something like this. I'm going to give you guys 2 pointers though when aligning these brackets. The first pointer is you want to make sure that they're opposite. What I mean by opposite is these rails. You see the plastic tub here? It's on one side, and then the plastic tub is on this side. They have to be separate for this to work. Keep that in mind. Another thing is if I flip it right here around, I know in the front I had said to kind of keep it away from that cut point, but another way is on these rails on both ends, both the bottom and on the rails that we just installed, they're going to have this tape here. Keep them within the bracket. So as you can see, this is aligned. So this is ready to go. We just have one more step, which is basically put it into the car of your choice that has a tow hitch. So now that we have this all kind of put together, we're going to go ahead and show you really quick on how to put it onto your car. Just keep in mind, you do need a tow hitch to make this work. If you do not have a tow hitch, I would not suggest buying this. Just go ahead and get the bike and enjoy it. So another thing that I did want to let you guys know, since both on my Tacoma and on the Jeep, I do have a spare tire in the back, that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to install this, and it doesn't let it actually work. So what I had to do, and if you have to do that too, I'll go ahead and link it in the description box below, but I had to buy this thing here, which is a 2-inch hitch receiver extension. So basically right now on the tow hitch, if you see, it's back here down at the bottom. So when I go to install it, this top piece ends up hitting the tire, so that's not going to work, of course. So that's why I had to buy this 2-inch hitch receiver, which I'll link down below. So what this does is it acts as a spacer. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in there, and then now this will go into this here. So that'll just kind of push it outwards and make it work. So let's show you guys really quick up close. So once again, this is called a tow hitch receiver. If you guys do not have one of these, once again, it's not going to work for you. But if you do, I'll show you guys really quick. So you pop it open. open if you have a tow hitch cover. And once it's open, that's where the 2-inch receiver will go. If you do not need this, don't buy it. This is just an extension because I have a Jeep, and on my Tacoma, that one also has a spare tire like this. So this is gonna work on both trucks of mine. What you would do is you just pop it right in. If you do not buy this, it's gonna be the same process. You grab the bike rack and pop that in, but we're gonna start with this. You pop it in, and then whether it is the spacer or if it's the actual rack, you should have one of these bad boys here. You slide it right in through, and then on the opposite side, make sure the hole is showing. And on the opposite side, you just slide the pin in and it'll lock that in place. It's that simple. And now we're gonna go ahead and come over here and grab the rack and install it into that. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab our rack. Once again, it does have that hole for that pin. Keep that in mind. So whether you got the spacer or not, this part is the same process. So you go ahead and put it in your receiver. It is a 2-inch receiver, just so you guys know. And the hole I just showed you on this, you want to match it up with that. So now that you can see the hole through there, now you can go ahead and put the pin right through there. And on my extension here, I also have a bolt that I can tighten down to make this really secure. So that one, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down. If you guys did get the same one, it's a size 18mm socket to tighten the bolt. And once again, don't forget the pin going through there. The KBO flip rack is now installed. So you're going to have for 2 bikes here. Of course, I do have 2 of the KBO bikes, which is going to be awesome. So I can take it to the beach. I can take it off-road when I do go. I can take it to many different places at ease. I don't have to lift those heavy bikes and put them onto my truck anymore. This is going to be so much easier. So to make this work, it's going to be super simple. This is going to go for both sides. To adjust this here, there's going to be a pin on this side. You push down to adjust it. When you do want to load the bike, you want to make sure to take it off completely. And then you're going to bring this up just like that. And you want to have it open just like that. So when you load it, everything is in its open position. Once it lands, you can then go back to this, push the pin down, that's right here, and you bring it down to wherever it fits the bike. So that would be done. And then same with this. This is adjustable, so there's going to be a pin here. You could either go down depending on the bike you have on here, or up if it's a bigger bike. And then you let it go to be in its size. Make sure it clicks and doesn't go anywhere, and then you can go ahead and slide this way or this way depending on the bike you have as well. And another cool feature about this bad boy here is you're going to notice there's a rod here. If you push forward on it, you're going to see this silver piece here come out and it'll go down. Once it's down like this, if you notice, it's now angled downwards. So having it in this position here is going to be the loading position and the unloading position. So it just makes it easier, so you can pick up the bike, drop it on, and then when you want to take it off, same thing. So that's a cool thing that they actually offered. And then when you bring back the pin, same thing, push forward, and then you can go ahead and lift. This would be like the driving around position when you have it there. Now for those days that you have the bikes off and you just want to leave this on your car, same thing, push forward, and now you're going to bring it all the way up until it hits the pin. And that's how it would look if you have no bikes and you want to leave this on. That's the cool feature about this. Some of these racks don't have that feature, the loading, the normal position, and the up. Another cool thing about the loading position, if you have it on the downwards when there's no bikes, it'll still allow you to open the doors if you guys do have maybe an SUV or anything like that. So now that we showed you guys that, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the bike once more really quick. I'll give you some quick specs on it. I'm not gonna go super in-depth. If you guys do want in-depth specifications on the actual bike that we got today, make sure to stay tuned to the review video. That'll be coming soon here, so make sure to look out for it. Make sure to be subscribed, turn those bell notifications on. We're gonna go ahead and test it out off-road, on-road, and like I said, I'll give you guys an in-depth spec on that upcoming video. All right, so now we're back home. So really quick, I wanted to just kind of touch bases. So make sure to stay tuned for the upcoming video where we actually do the review on it, because that's when we'll go ahead and go in depth and test it it out, and just all those type of stuff before you actually buy it. This one's technically just a unboxing video, so I don't want to go too in-depth on the specifications of it, so keep that in mind. Stay tuned for the upcoming video so I can give you everything. But just right off the bat, I wanted to let you guys know, in my opinion, this one is a lot better made than the last bike that I had. The parts, just everything else is just way better quality, just looks better, it's a lot bigger. Keep that in mind. Let's get to it. If you guys are looking for an affordable bike, KBO does do that. And the cool thing about these is they are electric, and they make it for different types of people and just kind of different types of background as far as what you're gonna want it for. As far as for me, I did want something that was capable off-road, so that's what I'm gonna be testing out in the upcoming video when I actually do the review on it. But it says that it can go off-road. It's technically an all-terrain bike. They call it the KBO Tornado. So if you guys are looking for something like that, that may be for you guys. As far as the last bike, that one's more of like a cruiser bike. It is pretty fast, but it does only kind of work for like in city or stuff like that. If you guys do want something affordable, I'll give you guys kind of like a perspective as far as pricing. So the one that I do have currently, at the time it was about $1,500, but with KBO they always have sales, and right now it runs about $1,100. So you'll be saving some money right there. And keep in mind, it is an electric bike, and if it is like the last one, this one should be good as well. When you do go on their website, they do offer different things as far as add-ons. So if you guys do want like a basket, if you guys do want something to carry your kids in, or dogs or stuff like that, they do offer that. Just like me, you guys just saw, I did the add-on by getting the actual bike rack, so that way I can take both of the bikes on my vehicles. So you can also do that as well. It runs about 300 bucks, and the quality overall, you guys just saw it. To me, it looked pretty good. I know there's better ones out there, but this one, for the price, you can't beat it, especially with it having those 3 functions, which in the review video I'll give you guys a little more in-depth on how to use that and how to actually load the bikes. So if you guys were curious on how to actually load them, stay tuned for that video because I'll show you guys. So as far as the bike itself, it does have a 48 volt 14AH battery, which is pretty good in my opinion. I'm not a bike expert as far as electric bikes, so I don't know 100%. It just, to me, that sounds really good. And then as far as the motor, just in case some of you guys are curious, it does come with a 750 watt brushless motor, and that is pretty cool. And with that specific battery, it should allow you to go 45 miles on a full charge without assistance, meaning without you pedaling. On their website, they do say it does have smooth power and that it transfers the power very well, so that way when you guys are going off-road with this on some steep trails, it's supposed to kind of, I guess, tackle the punch. So like I said, we'll see in the review video if that's true or not, because I'm going to put it to the test and I'll be honest. Another cool thing about this specific bike, since it is an off-road bike, it does have 26 by 4 inch tires, which are pretty big. They're all-terrain tires. They're really beefy and a lot taller than the last bike I had. So with this one, I think I am going to have peace of mind. But when we do take it out, I'll go ahead and kind of look at them and see if they actually were durable or not. I know with the last bike, it being with little tires, they still held up pretty good, but you can tell they were chipping away slightly. As far as the gears, if you guys do want to pedal it just by yourself without the assistance of the motor, it does come with a 6-speed gearing. So if you guys do know how mountain bikes work with gears, it has a 6-speed. And from the looks of it, it looks pretty good quality. Haven't tested it out, so I can't tell you if it is or not. It's gonna come with a rear rack, at least I know mine did, and it does hold up to 55 pounds. I will be honest, if you guys do remember in the last video with the old one, I did actually have my family members on it, and it held just right, nothing bent or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and test that out on this one as well and see if it's weaker or if it still holds. The cool thing about this specific bike, it does have a lockable front suspension, and then the cool thing about that suspension is the way it's made, the shocks do actually absorb some pretty good force. I didn't ride it, but I did kind of play with it and they feel pretty good. So I'm excited to actually test it out on the fire roads and just see what it's made of. This one is also going to come with some mechanical disc brakes. They are 160 millimeters, whatever that means, but that's what it states on their website. So we'll go ahead and test those out and just see how good the braking power actually is or not. And another thing that is kind of in that area, this one does come with fender flares. Cool thing about that is because like when you are on the fire roads or off-road or anything like that, rocks are going to get kicked up and you don't want that thing hitting you in the face, in the eye, or legs. So that's pretty awesome that they put that on there. Of course you have to build it yourself, but it's on there and that'll protect you and your skin. And then another cool little feature as far as on this one versus the last bike, on this one the full digital meter, it's a lot better quality. It's more lit up, it's just a little easier to understand, and it still has the same features, which is like the speed, the odometer, so it'll show how many miles you've put on it, and it'll show you a lot of other features as well, which we'll go over that in the review video. And just to keep in mind, this bike is technically rated for 30 to 45 miles range. Like I said, if you're not a heavy set person and you're probably more on a flat road without taking it off-road, it should go up to 45 miles with no assistance. Now if you're assisting it and riding it with the electric, it should go a little longer. I'm not quite sure because I haven't tested it yet, but from the reviews on their website, it seems like it's pretty true and pretty good. Another thing that I am looking forward to is it does have a nice saddle seat on it, so I'm curious as to see how well that's going to perform, especially if I do go on long trips. With the last one, the seat that I had, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it did actually hurt over time. After going like 30 miles or so, it was hurting, I'm not gonna lie. So with this seat that it comes with, I'm looking forward to it and seeing what that one's about. Another cool feature is this one does actually have front and rear headlights and tail lights, so I can use it at night with no problem, which that's something else I'm going to be testing out just to see how bright those are and how well it lights up on the ground. The other ones, they actually lit up pretty good, so hopefully this one's like that. So once again, this was just a quick little overview. When the actual review comes out, we'll go ahead and go in depth, test everything out, make sure it works, make sure it does what it says on the website, and I'll let you guys know. I'll be as honest as possible. I'll see you guys next time. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you, Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.